Hi everyone, welcome back to Plum Mashable. So considering I can't go to the beach right now, I'm bringing the beach to me in my planner. So let's go ahead and get into this one. Alright, so I was really inspired by some of the washi tapes that I got from Trish from Hobby Hoppers. I loved the shells, and so when I started thinking about shells, I started thinking about oceans. And I've done oceans, but I haven't done a beach. So I'm going to do a sandy beach. Sort of, it's going to look like sand. That's basically what I'm doing here. And then I'm going to add some shells, stickers and bits and pieces to kind of finish her off. But the first thing I need to do is take off my little countdown sticker. I did go ahead and put these on every week until the end of the year. So you're going to see them a lot. These are from Lime and Mortar. I wanted them in there so I could count it down, but at the same time, if I have to do what I just did and just take it off, I'll do that every week, that's fine. And it is still a little bit sticky, and I'm not completely worried about that because it's probably going to go back in the same spot. But at the same time, I'm going to ink blend over the top of that, so I'm just giving it a little bit of a rub with the eraser just to get rid of a lot of the stick. As long as I can't feel it, I think it's okay. The sticker will probably go straight back there anyway, so it won't make too much of a difference. Okay, and then I've got antique linen and tea dye distress inks. Antique linen is going to be my sandy colour, and then tea dye I'm just going to use to make a little bit of shadow around the place. I also have vintage photo, which I'm going to use to make some speckles, as well as some white. So I'm going to start off with antique linen, and I'm just going to blend the whole page. I'm not doing particularly heavy. I just want the whole page to be this sandy colour. So I'm going to go ahead and do that really fast. I'm going to grab myself a piece of scrap paper to kind of hold this still while I'm doing the blending. But I'll do this really fast and I'll be right back. Why can't it be really fast in real life? Oh, sorry, just one little thing. I'm not being too careful with the blend. Like, I don't need it to be, number one, we're only doing one colour, but it doesn't need to be perfect because sand isn't perfect. So we can be a little bit patchy like this one is, a little bit darker in some places, lighter in others, and I think that'll be fine. So I now have my kind of sandy background, but sand doesn't look like that. Well, sand in some places looks like this, but generally not. So I'm going to add a couple of little additions to this. So the first thing I'm going to do is spray it with some water. I'll just get my tissues ready. So I'm just going to spray it a little bit just to get a bit of oxidization happening, which will get us some light colours. Give it a second to do its thing, and then just pick that off. Probably should have done this side first, but anyway. Now it looks like a pirate map. It's kind of what I was going for, but not really, but that's alright. And maybe just a little bit more at the bottom, middle. So I just put a little bit of tea dye around the outside, that was all I did there. Then I'm going to grab some vintage photo, which I've smushed down on the side here. I need more water. Anyway, do it this way. Too much water. Anyway. grabbing a little paintbrush. Probably a little too small, so let's use this one. Just making sure no green's going to come off of it because that was the last colour I used, which it did. So just try that again. Re-smush. I just have a bit of water here because I've been playing with some watercolours in the last couple of days. And I'm really bad at cleaning up after myself, so. There we go, that's better. And I'm just going to do some tapping. Probably a little bit too much tapping over there, but that's alright. I just want little specks, so I'm not going too close to the paper. I'm just doing little motions. The left side definitely looks better than the right side, but that's okay. And then just to add just a little bit more, I'm just going to add a little bit of tea dye as well. Do the same thing, and then I'm also going to add in just a teensy little bit of acrylic paint, which I'm going to get wet and smush out as well. So I'm not going to worry about cleaning the brush between Vintage Photo and tea dye because it's a very subtle little change, but it wouldn't be noticeable. Now it looks like sand. And then the same thing, just a little bit with the paint. Might need more water than that. So for the paint, I'm just going to put a little bit on an acrylic block and just flick it. It gives you smaller speckles. We don't need many. Definitely not as noticeable as the oxides, but it's still there. Okay, so I'm just going to put that off to the side and let that dry and tidy up, and then I'll hit it with the heat gun just to get it to dry a bit faster, and then we can move on to the decorating. Okay, so that's all dry. I think I want to put the washi on next and then work out some stickers and stuff. I'm not going to put days. Hold on, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put this back on. Okay, she's back in her proper spot. I do also have this paper pad from Kaisercraft that's called Sandy Toes, and I kind of thought, well, this will fit in. This might be how I do my flipper. I'm just trying to think of what I want to. Ooh, no, that's the wrong kind of sand here. I also had this kind of thought of doing some water just along the top. So if you thought like this was the water line and this was the sand line, I guess, and I can put some shells down along there. Actually, we'll put shells on the bottom. This is one of the Hobby Hoppers ones. This is not the smelly one. This is the other one. The smelly one is here though, and it smells really good. I'm not really liking it. I think it looks funny. Hold on. Just really gently pull this up. I just want to try the smelly one. Just see if that gives me more of what I was looking for. It just looks a little bit too real, which, not real, but that's better. Real's not the right word, but it just looks a little too staged, whereas this looks a little bit less staged, I think. Okay, so this is the smelly one. So it will just add a little bit of scent to it as well. As I said in the unboxing video, it's not an oceany smell. It's not a really strong kind of salty smell or anything like that. It's more of a salty floral, which kind of sounds weird, but smells really nice. I actually really like that on the bottom. I'm debating putting it on the top now. I just want to see, I want to see the sea. And then I could, if I tore it, the only downside is I've only got one of these bits, so they're not going to line up, they're going to look different, but that's alright. I'm just trying to tear as straight as I can here. I want the white edge, which is why I'm tearing up. So there's a difference between tearing up and tearing down. Tearing down would be like this, which means you get the white on the other side, which isn't what I want. So I'm just going slowly. So I went too fast there and I messed up. Because I want that white edge. Because that'll give me that sort of waves crashing look. Actually, that's really nice. Didn't think that was going to work. Means that we have to bring in some date covers, but that's alright. Alright, so I'm going to do that again, but I'm just going to cut, just bring my trimmer in and just give myself a straight edge again. And then I can cut from the top where it's a little bit more, the reflections are more spread out, so it'll look more coherent, consistent, that was the word I wanted. So I'm just going to try and get roughly the same kind of width. Doesn't matter if it's not perfectly the same, and just do that again. we pulled it back. If I go on that side, you'll only just notice it, so it should be alright. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that down just with some glue tape. If you want it to be really clever, you can kind of roll this and it'll kind of look like the crashing waves a little bit more. It kind of works with the small bits, but it doesn't work quite so well with the big bits. Alright, we still do need somewhere to write footy details, which I'm actually going to do. So there's these quote cards, not quote cards, but quote bits on here. Because there are only 4 games, that makes it a bit easier. So I'm going to grab this one here that says, a good day at the beach ends with sandy toes and a sun-kissed nose. Flip out. I just need to work out now how I'm going to have it flip. Going back to that paper pad. It still needs to be easy to write on. That's the hardest part of finding the stuff on the inside. So it needs to match the background, but it needs to... Ooh, let's do the wood. Still needs to be easy to write on. So I'm going to grab this little bit of wood here and stick. I'm actually going to have it as a bit of a... make it look like a sign. Because I now really like the idea of doing that as a sign, which, silly me, I got too clever. So this is 5.5, so I'm going to cut this to 6, which before I do that I'm actually going to measure out here so I'll make sure I get it right. Perfect. And then when it opens up, you've got room there to write stuff, and because it's not completely solid, it won't be too complicated to write those footy details in on the inside. So I'll do that in a second. I'm going to mount this down on the bottom. I miss the beach so much. Okay, so I'm just going to really quickly write in those details and I'll be right back. Bring in these date covers. I'm thinking I might go over the top of these with a little bit of antique linen just to pull the white back, because I think it's going to be too stark. Trying to find my tweezers. So I'm going to put the Monday in the exact, well, in the spot that it would have been, and then put the date on there. Oh, for a minute there I thought I didn't have any. That would have been horrible. I'm not deliberately doing these big, but I feel like the big's not going to hurt it or be too distracting because there's not really a lot else going on. And then I'm just going to go over the top. I'm just going to be a little bit more careful on the other side because I don't want to get it on the... I got a little bit too much on the white there. But I think that pulls it back in. It doesn't look too out of place now, whereas if I put the Tuesday back in, it just looks really stark, which I think I'd still get away with, but I don't like it. So I'm going to go ahead and stick all these down and then just put a little bit of ink over the top, and I'll be right back. like that. I think that's worked really nicely. I like the quote there as well. And I'm kind of debating putting another one in on the other side, because I do have plenty of them. Welcome to paradise. Exactly. I'm just going to grab the one here that says salt in the air, sand in my hair. I actually want to mount that up on a post as well. I don't know why. I just feel like it. I'm going to do that too. Stick that down on there and then just cut it out. Could have this as another flipper and have it just sort of popping out, maybe with my Happy Mail list or something, but I really just think it looks kind of nice there on its own. I'm actually also going to cut just this little strip here, because this sort of looks like a post. Well, to me it looks like a post. Where's my tweezers? I'm going to lift that up a little bit. Just have it sitting down there. I'm going to act just to the top of the... No, do it to the bottom of the page. Do it to the bottom of the page. Sticky that. Alright, now we're going to put a bunch of stickers on here. So I've gone through all of my decorative stickers and pulled out a bunch of shells. That was just what I was looking for. So I've got some shells and some corals. I'm going to stick to the shells, something that you would think to find on the beach. Now I know these have got the little white coverage on the outside, and I'll debate when I'm finished if I think they need to be pulled back. So I'll do that in a second. So these ones here are by Witchcraft by Jessie, who I don't think make these. These are pretty old. Oh, that's perfect for a Happy Mail list. Having issues finding what I want. I know what I want, I just can't find it. Okay, I'm going to use this one. I'm pretty sure it's one from a Oscar and Lou kit. I'm not quite sure. It's obviously come out of my sticker book, reusable sticker book, sorry. I'm just going to put that down, and I think I'm leaning more towards bringing the colour back, but I haven't quite decided yet. So I'm just going to finish off putting all these shells and bits and pieces around, and I'll be right back. So I am putting just a little bit of ink on here, but I'm not putting any more ink on my brush. I'm just using what I had, and that'll just bring it back just a little bit. Won't leave it too dark. Just pull it back just that little bit so it's not quite so stark. Then I am going to leave it like that, because I really like that. That sand came up better than I could have imagined. I've still got plenty of room, obviously, but I could easily go further and write more and do more and go a bit more crazy. But I won't. I'll be good. I love that. It just reminds me of the beach now. I just want to go to the beach, which I don't think I can do yet. If someone in Victoria tells me differently, I will put you at the beach before you can say hocus pocus. But I really love that. I think it came together really well. And from just a strip of washi, that was all that I sort of went, that's what I want to do to get this. I think that's a really good outcome. So yeah, let me know what you think down below. You can give it a big old thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and make sure you're subscribed to my channel so you don't miss any future weekly decorations from me. You can also follow me on my socials there down below as well. I hope you guys have an absolutely awesome week, and I will catch you again in my next video. Sending lots of huggles. Bye!